Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joey the Veiled Cottage Witch, and I am not alone again. I am with my very good friend Val, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Okay, I'm Valerie, or Val, and I am an evidential medium, and I learned to read tarot from Joey, so
not true.
I really did. I took all of her classes. Does that count?
I merely opened the door and she just kind of shoved right past me, and that's all I did. I just opened the door.
You know, I think that that's something to think about, honestly. If there's something you think you're interested in doing and you just need a key to kind of unlock that space, go ahead and do it, because that's kind of what happened with me. I think it sort of made me understand that I've been doing all of this my entire life. I just didn't have a roadmap. And now you gave me a roadmap. And I'm like, okay, I understand this now.
I placed a tiny little seed.
Yes.
And it grew into a beautiful oak tree. And I am just so proud of, I planted that seed. Look at her go.
She really did. Yes.
Yeah, she's awesome. Awesome. And to see her journey and to see where she's gone way above and beyond anything that I could have ever imagined for her. So to see her and to have her in my cottage on my channel, and I'm fangirling, I swear.
So cute.
Yeah, I'm so like beside myself. So we're just gonna get right into it, and let's pull a card for the rest of this interview.
All right.
Yes, we've already been playing with cards.
Yes.
Might as well get started.
Looking at decks, deciding what they all mean. Oh my gosh, sometimes decks just talk to you in a way that just the cards alone can't. And that is one of the most amazing parts of this journey, that you find something that you vibe with, and then you find something you really vibe with.
Yeah, I think we go through cycles, and I think that people, I guess I was asked once, do you have all the decks that you've ever bought? And I said, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. I sure don't. Because decks come and go,
right,
like people.
Yes.
In your life, and you're meant to this is my deck. And I said that about so many decks, and I no longer have them.
Right. I mean, how many decks do you get, and then that perfect person, every time you use the deck, you know it's for this person, and then you continue to use it anyway, and then that person comes in, they're like, wow, I love this, and I'm like, of course you do, because it's yours. I've done that with my daughter. She frequently will pick a deck, and she'd be like, I just love this, I really vibe with this, and I'm like, I know, because this should be your deck.
Exactly.
Yeah, many times.
We've got the Three of Earth. You know, I love this. I'm going to show you guys.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm going to show you. I'm going to interpret it, and then I'm going to let Val interpret it. We'll get two sides of the story. The Three of Earth for me is things just coming together, just in a magical way, where everything just kind of lines up like a triangle. You know, there's three sides to a triangle, and everything just coming together perfectly.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, that's it. You know, you just find that groove. So that's, you know, what the Three of Earth means to me, or the Three of Pentacles. This does elements instead of suits. But to me, you know, I see it as just everything lining up.
Yeah, the way
perfectly,
that it's supposed to.
You know, the way it's supposed to. This is actually the second time we've tried to record this. And really the third time, because we have scheduled it the first time, and then that wasn't a good time for us. And then we tried it again and the sound was off. And so this is actually the third time.
Wow, so yeah, that is very apropos. I really like this one. I like this deck. Foxes, there's a fox and a fairy and a raven and a couple of apples, like 3 apples in there. And a Three of Pentacles, when you read it in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, is all about two people coming together and then somebody working on something and giving each other advice and knowing that you're not alone, that you have help, that you may have intellectual investment or you may have a physical investment in whatever it is to move it forward, that all those pieces are really important. And I love this because foxes are kind of sly. They solve problems in ways that dogs or cats will solve a problem in a lot of ways. And it's like those two energies coming together make something entirely different. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Of course, you've got apples, which are knowledge, mm-hmm. right? And a fairy that just magically helps to make things happen as well. I love this. What is this, the Four Hawks deck? Mm-hmm. This is the tarot deck we're using in case you're curious about that. But I agree with you. This is all about a triangle. Two sides coming together with a third side and making something magical happen. I love it.
Yes. And I'll point out, my wife helped set this up, so she could be that other third.
She is the third side of the triangle. That makes total sense. Yes. She's very technical. She's amazing. She's got all that groundwork underneath all of us, I think.
She does.
Yeah.
If I can't figure it out, I call her, and she can usually help me figure it out. What a great way to start. All right, on to the interview section. All right. First of all, I got to point out that I have a wonderful artist who's a friend, a dear friend, and Marina made these wonderful cards that I use to write interview questions on. So shout out to Marina Glenn. She watches my videos. She will get this shout out. Thanks. So she's also been interviewed on this channel, so make sure you check out that video too.
Yes.
All right, so how old were you when you knew you had a gift? And please share that story.
Wow. I think when I first figured a lot of the things out, I wouldn't have called it a gift. Not by any stretch of the imagination. When I was really, really young, I can remember we lived all over the country. We lived in so many places, and I don't think we ever lived anywhere longer than about 6 years when I was growing up. We were not military. That's always the question I get. We were just kind of nomadic, I guess, in a lot of ways. When we lived in Pennsylvania, and the country where, a lot of the Revolutionary War took place, there was a lot of Civil War stuff, mm-hmm. There was a lot of things that were going on there. I think that's when I really started to feel a lot of the energy. And as I'm saying this, I have an earlier memory of something in a different location. I had imaginary friends. I was the oldest of 3 children, and I played by myself a lot because my 2 sisters were quite a bit younger than me. And so I played by myself a lot, but I had a lot of imaginary friends. And I can remember situations where a great-grandfather of mine, I had met him once and then he passed, and I remember him coming and sitting on the edge of the bed and talking to me when I was a very young child.
Wow. And
telling me things. What he told me I couldn't tell you. As a little kid, I was just like, it's really weird that Granddad's here. That's really strange. And I remember even at a younger age having a playmate of mine. And I remember him being in kind of ragtag clothes and not really thinking anything of it, but as an adult looking back at the memory, I would place him probably in perhaps the late 1800s, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I remember playing with him in our backyard. And one day he told me he was going, that I wasn't going to see him anymore, that he was leaving.
Aww.
And we had a brick, like a shed in our backyard that had like garden implements in it. And he said goodbye to me, and he walked up onto this wood pile that was next to the building, and then through the wall and disappeared. And as a little kid, I remember being sad and a little grumpy about the fact that I wasn't going to get to play with him anymore, because that didn't really seem fair. He was my friend. And then kind of going, okay, well, I have to go have lunch now. You know how kids shake things off real quickly, but that memory has stuck with me.
Wow.
All of these years. So I was little. I was maybe 3 or 4, maybe, when that was going on. And back in the wild, wild days of when we grew up, parents were just like, go outside.
Mm-hmm.
It was fenced in.
I was very feral. I just play.
All of us.
They couldn't handle me inside. I had to go outside and play and
Yeah.
climb trees and.
And it was in the Midwest too. So living in the Midwest, if it was a sunny day, you had to be outside because those are precious. You didn't know when you were going to get another sunny day. So.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I remember that. I remember we played together often, and my parents just thought I had an imaginary friend. And I don't think I've ever set them straight.
Let them movement. That's good. Let them think whatever.
Let them think.
Yeah.
It's okay. It would be uncomfortable, I think, even to have that conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just going to roll their eyes, you know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure you did.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I had imaginary pets. I had imaginary boyfriends. I had imaginary friends. I had all kinds. And going back now, how many were friends like you had?
Yeah.
And how many were all in my head?
But even if they were all in your head, you were probably sensing and picking up on things.
Yeah.
Which is why when my
No doubt.
daughter had imaginary friends, I didn't tell her to stop or to shut
Right.
up or quit or knock it off. I asked her details. Tell me more about your friend. What's your friend like? What do you do together? Yeah. And I would encourage that with any parent that wants
Absolutely.
to bring that magic out of their children. Honestly, because we came from a very much more, I would say, classic upbringing, and I think things have changed quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the chain breakers. We didn't automatically just shut down our children, or even ourselves.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Very good point. Has this gift ever scared you at all, or freaked you out, or
Yeah.
gave you the willies, the
when
heebs and or jeebs?
All of the heaps on the jeeps. For sure. When I was really young, it used to really freak me out, and my parents didn't know what to do with me. They just saw a kid that needed a lot of attention, that didn't have the vocabulary to make anyone understand, and God love them. They were tired. They worked hard, and having a kid at 8 or 9 o'clock at night screaming her lungs out because she was scared and freaking out, that was tough. That was really, really tough for them. And so, yeah, it was hard for me, and I just sort of had to find ways to block it out. And believe me, it took a really, really long time to block that all off. And then I had to do life. And then a few years back, probably about 10 years ago, I went, I need to find out what this is. And I started going down that rabbit hole. And I think I have heard this story from so many people. The same trajectory has happened. You crush it down, you go work your 9 to 5, and then you get to a point where it's so blatant.
Starts to niggle.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what is that?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to pick at that thread. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
so that really is, that's where I've been the last probably decade, where I've gone down all the rabbit holes, trying on different size shoes to see what fits.
Exactly.
And I feel like I'm home.
I am so glad I'm part of your home.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I'm part of that journey. And it makes me sad that some people get that niggle and they don't pick at it, and they just repress it more.
I think
it happens.
sometimes it's hard because there's so much conditioning that has gone on that there's a little bit of, sometimes a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Of what does this mean? And it's, some people have been raised in religious ideologies where that isn't acceptable. Other people are just too afraid or nervous, or it just doesn't feel like a good fit for them.
Right.
And
they
I
get
understand.
scared.
I wish we could help with that more.
Right.
But we're here when you're ready.
Right.
So,
right.
Because there's so much to unpack in that. I know it's
For sure.
hard. Yeah.
It's really, really hard when, and I think I did a reading on this on my channel, where the best thing that we can do is to let other people live their own spiritual journeys, because once we get involved, then we're not allowing their spiritual journey to unfold the way it's supposed to.
I agree,
And, what can I do to help this other person to see that this is the way it should be? You can't.
Right.
That's not your job. You can't live somebody else's spiritual journey. And you also can't do their spiritual work for them.
Right.
Oh, it's so hard because you really want to. Like, I know what you're supposed to do in this. I know what you're supposed to do. But you can't.
Right.
Oh.
Sometimes you have to watch people do all the things wrong before they come back and go, okay, please help me.
Like, you're going to step in that hole. I know you're going to step in that hole. Here, let me pull you out of the way, but you can't. You have to let them step in that pothole. And it makes you so like, oh, I know you're going to step in that. But you have to let them step in it, because they have to pull themselves back out of it.
And sometimes that is part of the journey.
I know.
It is part of the journey.
For control freaks like me, it's so hard. And you have to, I just can't look.
Here's a phrase that my daughter reminded me of that I used to say to her all the time, and now where she's working, she's saying it all the time too, is, what'd you learn?
No, what'd you learn?
That's the opposite of I told you so, but what'd you learn?
What'd you learn?
Because you're going to tell yourself you told you so.
That's kind of like, but did you die?
But did you die? Right.
I love that. What'd you learn?
What'd you learn?
I'm going to have to steal that. I love that. So there's a lot of imposter syndrome going around in the spiritual community, and I'm sure in other communities, in professional communities. Have you ever doubted yourself, and do you have that imposter syndrome?
I'm starting not to.
Oh,
let's start
nice
there.
Wording.
Yeah.
I'm starting not to.
I'm starting not to.
I love that.
Brackets as much. As much. Because do I? Oh yeah, it is the foundation of my personality to get so far and then question everything again. Because empirically, when I am doing readings for folks, they usually come to me because they've come to a point in their life where they can't breathe. They have tried so hard to process the grief. They've tried to live their life by themselves. In many ways, they've seen the signs and their brains are going, nope, it's just my head making this up. And then they get to a point where they look and they say, I need to know. Is my loved one still there? Is my loved one still sending me the signs and doing the things? And the short answer to that question that I've been able to figure out is yes. And helping someone else understand that is really the part that I absolutely love. And as I'm reading many, many times, I am hearing words come out of my mouth. And I'm focusing on trying to get the mechanics and try to say things in a way that, because sometimes spirit will say things and you're like, I cannot say it in those words. Those are not nice words, and you try to change it around a little, and trying to deliver that message in the most loving way possible is, to me, the most important thing you can possibly do for anyone. But there are many times that I'll hear the words coming out of my mouth and think, am I making this up? Is this baloney? Is this crazy? And then when I see the reaction of the person that I'm reading for, and I see how there's some piece of that, some nugget in there, as many of my mentors say, some nugget that lands, and that person says, there's no way you could have known that. Wow. And that to me is everything. That's everything. When we cry and we laugh and we walk away with tears in our eyes, with that feeling in our heart that it's a little bit lighter, that's it. That's everything to me.
And I think that for me, I will go for a long time and get validation. People will text me, oh, thank you so much for that reading. All of this is happening just like you said. And I feel great after that energy reading. And this, I really felt the shift happen and all of this stuff. But then I'll get that one text. One. And it was like, I didn't get that one thing that you said would happen.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm a big fat phony. And it just took that one, and I forget all the other stuff.
Right.
And it's just that one crack in the chassis.
You did 99 things right.
Yeah.
And one thing you did
1%
wasn't quite there. You know, I've tried really hard to be gracious about stuff like that too, because it does happen. I've had people that have tried to trip me up. We call it playing psychic games, where they come and they try to mess with you. And I've had people that have straight up been, and they're not
that
going to give me
stance right there. Yes.
And that is a hard thing to overcome. But I'll tell you, I just decide, I always ask Spirit to help me out and say, help me do my best at this point. I don't go into anything trying to convince anyone. I don't go into anything trying to make someone believe something they're not willing to believe. Because that isn't my job. My job, and I've always asked, please help me deliver the best evidence I can. And if I can do that, and I've seen people do that where they've been completely away. And then I've watched them as their body slowly turns back around. And we're synchronizing again. And I like it when that happens, and I try to stay in, the spirit mode right there where I'm allowing that to happen. I'm observing it happen, but this isn't me doing this. That reminder of don't let ego creep in, reminder that spirit is still there. Spirit is the one delivering the message. That they're vibing and that they are softening and hearing the message, that's a gift. I love that people sometimes can do that, even when they're not feeling open-minded. And I've had people pick my readings apart. Well, this all sounds very generic, and indeed it does. And sometimes they're not going to change their mind, and that's not my job.
Right.
It's not my job.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that I'm a channel, not necessarily a psychic. And I have to, it's not my job to predict the future.
Right.
It is my job to read the energy.
Yeah.
And I have to separate that sometimes.
Joey, to that point, you were saying you'll get 99 things right, one thing wrong. That I easily could say is, well, you made a choice different than what the cards were leading you to. I was just telling you the potential. You made a choice, you got out of that energy, that's great. You jumped out of the bad thing, or the good thing, or the thing. You jumped out of it, you made a choice, you altered the energy. And I would never blame anyone. I would never say, well, you're the one that... I would never do that. But saying, yeah, you do have free choice. There's no way that anything is written in stone. No matter what I'm saying, you still can do as you please.
And in the end, we're only human. We make mistakes. Mechanics make mistakes. Waiters make mistakes. Human beings make mistakes. We're allowed to make mistakes as well.
Yeah. I like to think of them more as choices.
Yeah.
And mistakes. Choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what started you on the evidential medium path?
I would say my grandmother. Even though we never openly understood that... Let's see how to put this exactly. I think it's a gift and I think it's not. Okay, and this is why I say this. everybody who has access to a piano can learn to play a song. In 5 minutes, I'll teach you how to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. In 10 years, you may be able to still play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Or you may be playing Mozart. You get to choose at that point based on how good you are to begin with. Some people are natural piano players. Some people are great at it. Some people practice a lot and learn a lot and get even better. And some people still can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We all have a gift of some part. Even my husband one time, he called me and he is, okay, I should outline this ahead of time. He is very left brain. He's very logical. Everything he does is very linear. He's very scientific. It's a lot of hard evidence. But one day he called me and he said, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with our daughter?" And I went, "She's at school. She's in 3rd grade. She's totally fine. I don't know. I think she's I don't know. Something's wrong." That was not him. He never does that. And I hang up with him. 5 minutes later, the nurse calls me. They'd been playing on the playground and somebody was chasing her and she ran smack into a pole and hit her head.
Wow.
Where did he get that information? Why did he think there was something wrong? I say this to say this. Anybody can tap into the energy. Getting into that alpha state, who knows what he was doing? Maybe he was going for a walk. Maybe he was daydreaming. Who knows why that happened? He just knew it and he felt it and he reached out and he got validation for it. So something happened. We've all had that feedback loop where we get a feeling and then we get confirmation that a thing has happened. Mm-hmm. And then our brains start to overthink. Why this? Why now? How come? How come I can't always do this? You can. With training, you certainly can. Mm-hmm. With guidance, you can learn how to do this on demand. And that's what I did. I had a latent ability. I got connected with the right people. I have some amazing instructors. Shout out to Carol Massey and Marie Hess, some of the most amazing ladies I've ever met in my life. Tim Thomas, Danielle in Bisbee. Oh my God, Danielle Jewell, amazing, amazing, amazing folks. So I've been so blessed to have such wonderful people that I've been able to connect with and learn so much. So I hired the piano teachers. I learned to play my scales. I know how to do this now, and I'm beginning to feel a little bit of confidence in this now, where I feel like, yeah, I really can do this, and I really can help people find peace and comfort.
I've listened to you at metaphysical fairs when I don't have a client. I've been, I was listening. and I was like, look at her go, man. She's great. She's just following that thread, and it's just so amazing to watch the level of healing that you can bring to people and bring to me. I'm going to try and get through this without a huge lump in my throat. I've got my blue fluorite down there, so if I need it, I will hold it. But this woman right here is my cousin, who I lost to suicide in 2019, that she has helped me contact, and now she hangs out with us, especially when Val comes over. She has a party. Yeah. She likes to, I'm not going to say steal, but she likes to play with my crystals, and sometimes I can't find them, and then they just reappear. But knowing that she is around me just brings me such solace. That I know that she is still with me, even though she's not on the physical plane. Knowing that she is still with me on the spiritual plane, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And so that just amazes me to no end. So
As you're saying that, I'm getting full body chills, and I was like, I know she's here right now.
She is here.
Yeah.
She's here. She here. I lit her candle as an invitation, so she knows that she can pop in at any time.
She just showed me too, because she's here, and it's easy to connect to her because she's here. She just showed me that, you know, we always are looking for signs. People see feathers, they see dimes, they see whatever it is they see, or that sign, they look up and that's Grandpa's middle name, you know, whatever it is. She was just telling me that the absence of a sign is also a sign. Like you said, she keeps taking my crystals, and you know she's taking your crystals, and she gave sort of a little, like a little laugh about that.
I gave her a little pouch of crystals, and she still likes to play with mine.
And she's moving them around. She's just reminding you that she's here. And she's probably, when you find that, honestly, connect to that and find out what that message is, because that specific crystal that she moved that you can't find, there's a message in that too, I feel. So yeah, I would look for that too.
I need to have a whole crystal chest and have them all labeled, so that way I know which one she takes.
Which one is missing?
Which one is missing? And that's
yeah.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Oh, she's
all right. This is a toughie. Okay, so if you could take away a gift of yours, and also add a gift, what would you choose and why?
Sometimes I feel things too much. You know, a lot of people, I think, even if you don't have a gift that you're working toward, that you're locked in, so many people in our community start with, I'm an empath. And, you know, empaths are not born, they're made. Empaths usually come from some level of trauma in their life in some way, shape, or form. That needing to read a room before you walk into it, that what's the temperature in there before I walk into the storm. A lot of us are very familiar with that energy. So that, I wish I could, I don't know that I'd want to take it down completely, but I would love it to, it's at 11 and I'd like it to be at about a 2 most days. You know, walking into CVS to get a prescription filled, and the guy in front of me is just oozing trauma and stress and pain, and I need to step back from that, and I'd really like to not feel everything, because how can I help with this? I can't. I feel it, and so learning to ground and center has been a big deal to me, but yeah.
Failing.
Yes.
It helps tremendously.
Yes. What would I bring in? I really would love to get names. Every medium I've ever known, I don't understand what it is between the other side of the veil and this side. Why they can't just say, how we would start a phone call. Hey, it's Chuck. How you doing? That would be helpful. Hey, it's Grandpa Jack. It goes from there.
Names, please.
Names would be wonderful. And this whole, I'm getting a J name, and people are going, J. They're trying. Well, I have a great cousin from my aunt, twice removed, who I haven't seen in 47 years, named Jane. Is that, you know? And it's like, no, that's not. Don't make it fit. Either it makes sense or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, that's fine. That's also good information for me. Right. Yeah, I would love to get names. I would love, honestly, to get some things just spelled out. And I know there are mediums who are like, Grandpa Paul, 47 years old, died way too young, was a machinist. Okay, and then someone's like, yeah, that's me. And no one else in the room, everyone's like, no, none of that fits. Except for there's always that one lady who's like, I have a Grandpa Jack. Not really my grandpa, but...
Right. They make it fit, right.
They make it fit, and then don't do that, because that's not helping any of us.
And then they have that one people, can't you just use a Ouija board? And I'm like, no,
that's a whole different energy. Mm-mm. That's not for me.
That is cheating.
That is not for me.
Yeah.
It's Beelzebub.
Yeah.
No.
That's not it.
No, we're not doing that.
If only it was that easy.
If only.
I love this next question, by the way. Do you believe in past and or parallel lives?
100%. 100%.
On both.
100%. I have been places where I'm like, ooh, I am home. I have met people who I'm like, what took you so long to show up in my life? Parallel lives, honestly, and I feel like, oh boy, this is a whole can of worms for me.
Oh, quantum physics.
Totally can of worms. I feel like we have what I would call split points in our lives.
Oh, yes.
We're going along, and all of a sudden we're at a decision point. You know, we move left or we move right, something is going to change. There's no more forward momentum. You're no longer going on a path. You have to pick. And that which you pick determines, but you also pick the other choice.
Yes.
And that's where things split.
That's what I feel like sometimes deja vu is like. Like, I come out of my body sometimes when I have deja vu, and I'm like, I have done this before. I know I have, and I've chosen differently.
And
like,
you know
I
what's
know
going to
I have.
happen next, too.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Crazy. Crazy. And I've also had dreams, or I've had real life happen, and I've like when I'm traveling or something, and I would say, like, one time I was a little kid, and I drove past, and I was like, I've been there in my dream. Like,
Yeah.
No, you haven't. My parents are like, no, you haven't. Yes, I have. Clear as day, I have been there. But we have never been here. And you can't dream about things that you've never been to.
Yes.
I call bullshit.
I do too.
Because you can, and you have. And all of that. Oh, yeah.
Being embodied in this meat suit is only the illusion. It's only part of what we know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just a fraction. Just a
a-
little tiny blip.
Tiny taste.
Tiny, tiny taste. Yeah, we could talk about this forever.
Forever.
We could have already. Dun, dun, dun.
Or we could be going to do that.
Oh my God.
Just a minute. Oh my gosh. All right. This is where my head explodes. Okay.
I love it. I feel like, though, honestly, Val and I have known each other in so many lifetimes.
So many. So many.
The first day we met, we were talking to each other like
Yeah.
we've been like sisters before.
Yeah.
Beyond friendship.
Right.
Like, we don't even we didn't never even talk to each other ever as friends. We've always talked to each other like sisters.
Always. Always. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Right.
think we've ever decided, hey, do we want to be friends? We were just like,
We're sisters. Yeah. For sure.
always.
Yeah.
I wonder what we're going to be like in the next lifetime.
Oh my gosh. What if we were mortal enemies in a lifetime? Wouldn't that be like, I mean, maybe we were, because what if you have to explore all the energies with people? You know, like you're mortal enemies, and the next one, you're conjoined twins. And then the one after that, you're lovers. And then the one after that, you're best friends. And the one after that, you're sisters. Or
Wow.
Or brothers. Or, I know. There's so many
I
permutations
can't
of that.
I can't even fathom being mortal enemies with you. Like,
I know.
what would that life even look like? Like,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, what if we were on opposing sides of a war or something?
Because we
wouldn't
constantly
need to be.
worry about doing something that would make each other so mad that we are no longer a
Yeah.
part of each other's lives.
Yeah.
But what if
Yeah.
that's a little remnant of that?
Right, I know, and I wonder that too. Like, what if that's a remnant? Like, wow, the last life I put that sword right through her heart. And I wonder if she's still bitter about that. You know, I mean, like, what if that happened? I know, I think about those things a lot. Like, I can imagine a scenario where one day we just,
We should do a reading about that one day.
oh shoot, yeah, we should do that. Yeah,
With that Dark Reflections deck.
Oh no, I'm scared. That deck is scary. First time I've ever seen it, and that's why the energy started out like this, because I'm like...
So if you don't know what we're talking about, I did a review on the Dark Reflections Tarot. It is a shadow work tarot that the whole deck is the reversed interpretations. Brutal.
Brutal, yeah.
And all like the negative cards are all positive.
Yeah.
It's trippy, but it's
very layered. It's very, very layered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out,
Yeah.
I review the whole deck. So
Yeah.
check that out. Okay. So what does a typical mediumship session with you entail?
Okay. Well, sometimes we read in person. Sometimes we read through the internet. I use Teams or I use Zoom or something like that a lot of the time. So once we've got that set up, I'll either ask if they want to work one-on-one. Sometimes 2 or 3 people want to be in on a read.
Okay.
And I start out by just kind of letting you know the boundaries in a sense. It's not really boundaries, it's sort of like it's my elevator speech on this is how this goes. Because a lot of people have never seen anything like this. Or they've seen like maybe John Edward or Tyler Henry or something online doing big group readings, and it's a little different. They're highly edited and it's very, very different. So basically I will ask my sitter to tell me yes or no or I don't know. And a lot of people want to make everything fit and they really want to be helpful, and so they hesitate to say no or I don't know. But the thing that I've learned is that if you say no or I don't know, that gives me a chance to understand why I interpreted something wrong. If you ever get a medium that is like, Spirit is just not telling me the right thing, it's really, we're imperfect. We are an imperfect device, that medium, that in-between piece, that we've got a set of ideals, we've got a library of symbols, we've got, all of these things and memories. Spirit leverages all of that to tell the story, but it's really easy to misinterpret that. So I may see a rose and I may think, I don't know, of a poem that I know. And Spirit just wants me to say rose.
Right.
And so it's up to me to figure that out. So if you say no or I don't know, I get to go back and say, tell me why I'm not understanding this. And then the energy builds. Now, sometimes we'll get to a point where I'll say something and my sitter gets really excited because there's a memory unlocked or there's something that's happened and they want to tell me the whole story. And I understand that exuberance because I want to do that too. But it's better to wait and do all of that at the end, because as you're saying yes and no and I don't know, and Spirit is telling the story, the energy is building. Every time someone starts to tell me the story, I come out of that alpha state and I come into the beta state where my brain is listening and processing the story. So I'm coming out of the mediumship state and then I have to get back into it. And I've been doing this long enough that I can come in and out pretty seamlessly, but it does make for a wonkier read. It makes it a little bit more complicated. So that's what we do. And then we give evidence until the evidence is, we're sure we're with whoever we think we're with. And then messages. And that is really the meat and the potatoes of the entire read, is the message. The apology, the I love you, the I'm proud of you, the I'm watching your life and I'm so excited.
That's when the tears flow, right?
Yeah.
That's when you have to buy stock at Kleenex.
That's really, and I do. I really do, because I need it as much as my sitters do. I'm a human as well, and I'm experiencing this love and this intense emotion. And sometimes there are times where I can't help but shed tears as well, because it's so beautiful at that point in time. So that's kind of the basics of it, and that's what I love. It's what I love to do.
What I'm hearing is that it is a healing venture for you as well.
So much.
For them.
I don't know how many times I've had a read or I've had a conversation with someone where, as the words are coming out of my mouth, I know that this is as much for me as it is for my sitter. And that's sort of like a side gift, I think. I don't always share that with who I'm reading for, but it helps me see the world differently. It helps me, I think, be more compassionate, and it helps me feel more connected to people on a granular level, which I absolutely love. I love that feeling. I love that empathy feeling, that understanding of others, because I think we need more of that in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're getting validation for yourself that your skills are working, and you're getting validation for your sitter as well. So everyone involved is getting that validation.
Well, and I think the most important thing is that reminder that life continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is proof. And you said that evidence.
It's evidence.
Is such an important part of what you do.
Yeah.
Because without that evidence, and I think you've mentioned there are some people who struggle with that part of it. You know, they want to just maybe practice being that psychic medium without the evidence part, and that evidence part is such a key component.
It is, and I heard you say that it's proof, and I'm wondering, I don't know necessarily that it's proof per se, because I mean, if they could reach through the veil and hand us something, that would be, that would be concrete proof. But it touches your heart, and I've had sitters do, sometimes they'll do one of two things. Sometimes, you know, it's the confirmation they need, and later on as they're reviewing the evidence, either remembering, or they'll ask to record, and they'll record it, they'll listen again, and then they'll text me and they'll say, hey, that thing you said, I said no at the time, but here's why you were right about this. So sometimes I'll do that. And then sometimes there are things where they'll text me later and go, oh, well, I don't know about that. And that's okay too, because sometimes as we hear the evidence later on, it's something we need to really think about. And, you know, well, I said yes, but I think that was really wrong. That's okay too, because when this happens, it's more than just a logical thing. It's mostly an emotional thing. And when we hear through our emotional lens, sometimes we're not thinking about this, we're thinking about that. We're not expecting this, and so that you kind of need to let that gel and process a little before you get the full feeling of it. Sometimes it just doesn't land, and I've given up on that feeling of feeling bad about that, because it is what it is as the process unfolds. And sometimes I'll have people say, well, I didn't really believe you, but they've come back again. Like, let's give this another shot and let's see what happens now. Because their mindset is different.
Right.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I do.
I love when they give you another try, they give you another chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's something that landed.
Yes. Yes.
There's something that landed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Wonderful. It's fun.
So, how can folks get in touch with you to book an appointment with you?
Well, I have a Facebook page. It's what is it? Val the Medium? I can't remember. Valerie the Medium.
I will put that down in the description box so that you guys can get a direct link to book with Val, to book a mediumship.
I'll give you my phone number too. Right now, I had to disable my automatic scheduling assistant because I was having too many situations where people would schedule things and I was not scheduling it properly, and so it's better to just text me or call me and schedule that, because the technology part of it is not my forte.
We will get you her number so that you can the easiest way to get your evidential mediumship appointment with Val. All right, now we're gonna play a game.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to do like this lightning round thing where I'm going to give you a choice and you're going to just quickly have like 1 second to decide.
Okay.
All right. So these are just really quick answers, no thinking things through. And you just have to decide really, really fast.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Tarot or oracle?
Tarot.
Okay. Full moon or new moon?
Full moon.
Ritual bath or ritual shower?
Ritual shower.
Spell or meditation?
Yes.
You cheat. All right.
Sorry.
Curse or hex?
Curse.
She's naughty. Wood or stone?
Wood.
Herbs or crystals?
Herbs. Although I want to say yes to that one too.
Water or fire?
Water.
Earth or air?
Air.
Day or night?
Night.
Books or websites?
Books. Yeah, books.
Eve or Lilith?
Oh, Lilith.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee, but I also like tea. But coffee is medicinal, so
Yes.
it is
Technically
necessary.
kind of the same thing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so now we're just going to draw an oracle to end this interview. We're going to use my Deadly Apothecary oracle. It is so beautiful. Have you seen this?
I don't think I have seen this one. Oh my gosh. I love that it's red.
I know.
That is a deep, intense red. That is amazing.
I know.
That is cool.
It's poisonous plants as guides and healers. What's the difference? Dosage.
I've been giving him belladonna to try to cool him off a little bit. I think I gave him too much.
Oh.
I like roses. Oh, sorry.
She's going to read this one.
Cherry Laurel, the Peacekeeper. Oh my. Wow. Oh. Oops. What does it mean if it's hit the floor? There you go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Peacekeeper. I would say that is very much in line with my personality in a lot of ways. The Peacekeeper.
You very much are.
Yeah. I try to be. What is on top of her head? Is that like a rodent of some sort? Is it a bat? I don't even know what that is. It looks like a little animal on top of her head. She's got horns they look like candy canes, curly candy canes coming out of her head. Mm-hmm. And at the very top, there's some sort of animal, maybe it's a crown. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Do you want to consult the book?
Yeah, maybe we should, unless you'd like to just interpret that for me. Maybe we should.
I don't
read
know
the book.
what it is.
Oh, the number is 34, so that's a 7. So 7s are kind of feisty, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see, what is that? The antidote.
Oh, that's numerology, by the way. I took the numbers and I added them together and then reduced them to a single digit.
So it's part of a tree. That thing.
Oh, it's part of a tree.
It's a part of the laurel tree.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Common laurel. Oh, yes.
It's very pretty.
So, it says, the disempowered cherry laurel tries to keep the peace at all costs. If someone is upset, they believe it is their personal responsibility to calm things down and make them right. They avoid confrontation and are always first one to yield, which leads them to being taken advantage of.
You are calling me out so hard right now. I'm not really liking this.
Their feelings do not appear to matter, getting brushed aside and eclipsed by louder and more aggressive personalities. Cherry Laurel feels as though they are walking on eggshells with someone, which affects their health. Wait, there's the antidote. Hold on.
Okay.
The antidote to this.
Run, scream.
Cherry Laurel has a natural calming energy, which makes them an ideal peacekeeper, a useful skill, okay?
Okay.
It's useful.
Oh, okay. Okay.
However, they constantly misuse this ability by capitulating to a loved one. They can feel bitterness creeping in because their needs are always being ignored. Cherry Laurel is allowed to speak up and tell others if they feel they are being mistreated, even if this disturbs the peace and causes conflict. That's a good thing. In fact, it is sometimes necessary. They say choose your battles, and in this case, Cherry Laurel must fight.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this doesn't mean a thing to me. I don't know what you're talking about. This is... Thanks.
We were just talking about something like this.
Yeah.
Choosing your battles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping that peace when you need to, but also standing up for yourself when you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. It's hard to walk the line, but it's good, yes.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Val, for coming on to my channel and doing this interview. Third time's the charm.
Yes.
Yes, as the Three of Earth. See, not all tarot is mean and not all oracle is nice. See, we broke that stigma today. I'll take that.
Oh, please.
We're always breaking stigmas. I love it.
Yes.
Check out the description box below so that you can book a reading with Val. She's amazing. She is wonderful, and please book with her. You will not regret it. She's a good friend, a trusted sister, and an amazing medium. So
thank you so much for inviting me on your channel.
No
I've
problem.
never done this before, so I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
All my information is going to be down in the description box below. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee. You can also head to my website and book a reading. You can sign up for a class. You can book a service. You can also sign up for workshops. We're doing workshops now. And you can also shop my online store. Just make sure that you punch in that code word at checkout. All caps veiled. Get your free shipping. And as always, live your best life and live for yourself. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.